This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
Good morning. Welcome to INCRadio South Central State Satellite Studio. We are here in the middle of nowhere camping, like we're literally out camping. This is what it looks like when you just wake up from camping and then have to get on the radio, okay? So our topic today is going to be all about camping. But before we get started, let's go ahead and introduce our guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Brother Albert. We're here in locale Fort Worth.
So we are here in the city of Fort Worth. That's where we're camping. But like I said, in the woods in the middle of somewhere. I didn't know Fort Worth had woods.
Yeah, neither did I.
Okay, so first of all, let's just talk about camping. Like, what are your experiences with camping? Like, do you go on a regular basis? Is this like a once a year thing? How many times do you often go camping?
We try to get out at least twice a year, but sometimes more.
And then, like when I was in California, we used to do family camping, and we used to do it once a year because there's like so many of us with like all my aunts and uncles and cousins, and so there's no way like we could do it on a regular basis. Now, when we camp, we usually camp, like we said, in the woods, usually where there's a lake, so we can do water stuff. Where are the different places you've gone camping?
We've gone camping throughout California. From the south all the way up to the north. We went to like Yosemite was one of our favorite spots that we would go to. The Alabama Hills, somewhere in California.
Wait, but isn't that misleading when you say Alabama Hills? People think you're in Alabama.
I know. It actually looks like you're kind of on Mars, but it's a really nice. It's a spot that's far away from any houses, any communities or anything like that. It's kind of a remote site. But
That's pretty cool. Like where I've seen people like who camp at beaches and things like that. Where's like your most favorite place to camp?
ours was, I think, Yosemite. We've gone there a couple times, and we've had some pretty memorable experiences there. So
There was one campsite that we went to once, and we didn't know. We're just thinking it's a regular campsite, and then we found out like one of like the horror films was like filmed in that area. And we're like, okay, you should have told us that before we went camping, right? Not when we were in camping. Now, what types of camping have you done? Like, is it just straight, set up a tent and that's it? Like, what are the different types of camping you've done?
we've done set up a tent and camp like that. I've done just set up a sleeping bag and camp on the ground. And we've also rented like a little cabin, or we have an RV, so we've gone out in our RV as well.
So I asked you earlier if you went glamping and you said yes. Tell me, what is glamping?
I think when you have certain amenities that make your camping a lot more comfortable, like staying in an RV or having, I think having an air mattress in your in your tent, or having an AC or a heater when it's cold, like those are some of the glamping, and I've done some of those before too.
Yeah, we've never done glamping. We've always just done your traditional tents. But yes, so AJ mentioned AC. We had some of our friends here today, who was camping last night, and I was wondering why they had a generator on the whole night. They had air conditioning in their tent. Oh my gosh. Have you ever done that?
Not with the AC unit, but I've seen it with the heater, and we've done it like when I was in the military too. We had a heater because it was like 7 degrees outside and we were staying in a tent, so we did have heating for that one. But when I do my own personal camping, we just bundle up and have a nice sleeping bag. It's like don't really go that far.
See, us too. When we do camping, we'll have all our tents and everything. When we because we can't haul so much stuff because you're usually in a
Right.
car and driving stuff. The one thing that we would haul a lot of would be like your stoves and everything because my aunts and my sisters, they love to cook. And so when we would be out camping, like we don't grill as much. It's more of still cooking real food on a stove. So that's what we would haul, but not like air conditioning and all that stuff.
Is that considered glamping? Bringing a stove? I don't know. I've seen people just cook on the fire, but then when you have certain, I don't know if that's considered glamping or not. But we always bring a stove, so.
I don't know because we're still roughing it, so I don't really think it's camping. And plus, if you try to get us to cook like on open fire, it may not cook like it's supposed to. I think the only thing we've actually cooked open fire is s'mores, because everyone has to have s'mores, right? All right. So my other question for you is like, where is like the most remote place you've gone camping?
We've gone out in Utah by the Salt Flats, somewhere out that way, and we were camping and the campsites were so far spaced that you couldn't even really see the next person that was camping with you. And it was so dark out there. And so like, it just felt like you were far away from everyone. So that was one of them. And then same with the Alabama Hills. It literally feels like you're on another planet. It looks like you're on another planet and there's nobody really around sometimes, depending on which camp spot you pick. So those two were probably the most remote campsite we've done.
And how was like cell service? Was there any cell service at all, like in case of an emergency?
There was, but with our RV, we were camping with our RV on those ones, and we had a cell signal booster on our RV that it was on a big pole, so I can put it up like, I think it was like 30 feet, so that I could get a signal. So
when we would go places, it was only a certain carrier that would have reception. Everybody else wouldn't have reception. But it was also one of those things where you had to walk around the campsite to try to find cell service, And I think we enjoyed that one because then the kids weren't on their electronic devices and then there's nowhere to plug in. And we don't bring generators. So there's nowhere for them to plug in. So now they have to be like in tune with nature and actually have conversations with people. You know what I mean?
I think Yellowstone also, we camped out there, and that's pretty remote. Even though there's so many so many people there, it's still pretty remote. So, and that one we camped in a tent.
So with the places that are remote or just any place you've gone, have you had any encounters with the wildlife?
We've seen like bison. We've gone out like into Montana also, and you can see bison out there. They come around. Bears. We had bears walk through our campsite, and like scaring. You can hear people screaming, so that's how you knew the bear was getting closer to you.
So what's the rule when there's bears around? What are you supposed to do to prepare your campsite to hopefully deter bears?
So we keep our food in a sealed container, and they have these bear boxes. So we put our stuff in the container and then stuff it in the bear box. That way the bears can't get into there. It's harder for them to open it. You don't want to keep it in your car because we've seen someone's door literally get ripped down, and then they got in and then ripped through their back seat to get into their trunk to get a little candy bar because they can smell really good.
See, I mean, I think all the places we've gone camping were safe places. Like we've never seen posts of look out for bears or anything like that. They do have signs like don't feed the wildlife, which is probably like birds or whatever. But we've never gone to places I think that had bears, so I've never experienced. Are there any other animals you've experienced like while you were camping?
Raccoons. We've gone to a campsite where it seemed like there were wild animals around because you could see big rocks on top of trash cans. And then later that night, we found out that it was raccoons. They were getting into everything. and you get up to go to the bathroom and you have a flashlight. You're just walking, you hear little noises, but you shine your flashlight up in the tree, and then you see like, I don't know, 15 pairs of eyes staring at you. You're like, what is that?
Yeah, I don't think I would do well in places like that. I mean, I thought we were roughing it when we were camping, but at least, like I said, we don't have like much wildlife. Okay, so when you go camping, normally, like, who do you normally camp with? And then what are the different types of activities do you do while you're camping?
So I normally camp with my wife, and then when we were in San Diego, we would camp with her family or some of her coworkers, or just her mom and dad. We would do that as well. But the activities that we would normally do is like fishing, hiking. And the fishing, I had a story where I was out fishing with her and her coworkers, a bunch of nurses, and I had a hook go through my finger. I was with the right group because they all they were able to get the hook out, and they cleaned it all up. But fishing, hiking, we've had the experience to actually shoot while we were on a camping trip. That's about it. Mostly fishing and hiking.
So I do remember one of our original camping that we did, where my brother-in-law, he's like an avid fisher. He will always fish all the time. He had his poles, he had all the things he needed for fishing, right? And he was out there fishing, couldn't catch anything. And then my nephew, I want to say he was like 5 years old at the time, had nothing. So we got him like a twig and then tied some twine on there and then like put bait, and he was able to catch fish, right? So he kind of made his dad look bad. And we're like, see, you don't need expensive stuff, right? Anyone can catch fish. What other types of activities do you do, like water sports, if you guys ever by the lake or anything like that, or by the water?
Yeah, we've rented like boats because we don't have our own boat or kayaks, but we've rented kayaks. We're rented a boat to just go out on the lake. We've done the paddle boats too. That's really tiring. So I don't really like doing that one, but yeah.
My cousins, they're very all into like water sports and everything. So they would bring like kayaks, like you said, the paddle boats. In our early stages of camping, my uncles used to have jet skis, and so we made sure that when we went to the lake, it had the launches so that we can go off jet skis, and that was a lot of fun. We tried to get all the kids to do it, and then some of the kids got greedy because they didn't want to get off because they're like, no, it's my turn still. We're like, buddy, yeah, take turns.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We camped here down south in Texas in Hill Country, and the Frio River. It's kind of popular for floating, so we got some tubes and we floated down that river. So that was another fun activity we did.
That's pretty cool. So we did post a question of the day on our chat, and the question is, what are some of your memorable camping experiences? And we had a few people give us their experiences. So we have Victor Novella, who is from Blue Ridge, and he said one of his memorable moments is staying overnight and telling scary stories. Like, do you tell scary stories?
No, I don't. I don't remember the scary stories. I don't tell them.
So last night while we were here camping, Nate, who's behind the camera, because we're limited with cameras when we're out here in the field, we don't got one for everybody. So Nate was telling us scary stories, and I'm like, he was telling us about his aunt. Was it your aunt's house that they said weird things would happen in the house? And I'm like, why are you crazy enough to go? But I think that is one of the things that a lot of people like to do. They like to sit by the campfire and tell scary stories. We used to have a thing where we wanted to see who could tell the scariest stories, right? And then after that, no one wanted to go to sleep.
That's kind of the reason why we didn't really tell them, because some of the kids that we would camp with, a lot of times they were afraid of scary movies. So we knew if telling a scary story, they wouldn't want to sleep or they'd be terrified.
Okay, and then we have another person, Don's. He says he remembers being chased by bees when we were camping in central Alabama. Anything you could relate to? Oh, Nate, you were with him? Oh, see? Yeah, I'm glad we don't encounter bees. And then last night we didn't really encounter a lot of mosquitoes either, huh?
Yeah, no. Yeah, there weren't a whole lot of mosquitoes last night. At least I didn't get bit. I really don't get bit by mosquitoes, but yeah, I didn't even have to put on bug spray.
Well, I had to. Well, I wasn't going to, but the ladies here kind of forced me to put on bug spray because they said I would get eaten alive, which I'm kind of glad I did. So I didn't get eaten alive. Um, Another memory that Victor had shared was taking cold showers. Oh, that was another thing. When you go camping, are there like facilities?
Usually, a lot of the times that we camp at now, because we have an RV, they have facilities, or our RV has heated water, so we'll turn on our water heater and heat up the water and take a shower that way. But when we were in Arizona by Sedona, we did remote camping. There was no water, no electricity, nothing. So we had a big storage tank in our RV. So we just pour the water into a bucket and shower with the bucket, like using a tabo. And the water was freezing cold.
You guys, he just said tabo. um when we do our camping, we pretty much are roughing it, but it at least has bathroom facilities. So you have the toilet at least that you could use, because I honestly don't know how I would use the bathroom if there really wasn't a bathroom.
We had to dig holes. You dig holes, and yeah, that's how you use the restroom.
But how do you know someone hasn't dug a hole there yet? What if you uncovered something,
You'll find out. You will find out.
Yeah, so we would have the bathrooms, and then the bathrooms would have a shower, so you would have to drop quarters in, right? And it'd be timed. And then one time, one of my nephews who loved to take long baths, right, didn't bring enough quarters, because you can hear him yelling from the inside, like trying to get someone to come over there to put more quarters for his shower. But yeah, so at least we always try to do facilities. And then I do remember one time we had camping with a bunch of the youth, and we were actually at a camping site where they had a gym, so people were playing basketball and not bowling, basketball, ping pong, billiards all night long. And then we had swimming pools and everything. But you still had the tents outside and cabins. But I guess that's some kind of camping, right?
Yeah, we've been counting certain campsites we've gone to where they had different amenities like outdoor mini golf, outdoor bowling, basketball hoops, big pool, nice pools, just various activities. They some different. You'll be surprised what they have out there for when you're camping, what you can still enjoy.
So then Mylene, who happens to be married to Victor, and Victor sharing all his stories, she said she's not a big fan of outdoor camping. What about your wife? Does she enjoy it when you get to do all these camping things, or do you kind of like make her?
I think she enjoys it more than I do. Yeah, she really enjoys the outdoors. She actually likes the remote camping more than the glamping, I guess. Yeah, she likes the remote camping better than anything.
And I think I would have to agree with you, because last night, I did see her. She was the one starting the fire. She was the one starting the s'mores. She was the one cooking and everything. So I think she really enjoys being out here, doesn't she?
Oh yeah, she does, and she makes it more enjoyable for me because there's a lot of stuff that she'll take care of that I don't have to worry about. So we help each other out.
That's so cool. Okay, so then besides fishing, like I said, do you guys, and telling ghost stories or scary stories, um, are there any other activities that's fun to do, since we don't have electronics or anything, that you've done in the past of any of your camping experiences?
We've like played cards, or um, we come up with different games to play, just various games. Um, yeah, sometimes we just sit there and enjoy the outdoors, stare at the stars, enjoy the cold air. But a lot of the times when we're camping, we're with our dogs too, so we're like taking care of them as well. So we're just sitting there enjoying the night.
Yeah, we try to make camping fun, where sometimes we would be mean where because when you're out camping, you want everyone to stay awake. You don't want nobody falling asleep, right? So there were times when we would go camping, and this is an agreement with everyone who's camping. Whoever falls asleep, we get to prank them, right? And so one of the pranks we used to do is whoever would fall asleep first, because if they're out there in the middle with us, we'll do like pranks, like we'll put chips in their mouth and things like that, or we'll take off their dirty socks and like stick it on their nose or something, right? But someone thought that they would be smart and go into a tent and sleep there and like nothing would happen. And so like, okay, we'll let them doze off a little bit. And then when they got into their tent, we kind of opened up their tent door so that mosquitoes and bugs could fly in. So that was kind of mean, but like I said, it was clean fun, right? Now what about when before you go camping? There's a lot of preparation, unless like you said you're just doing the sleeping bag on the ground. So on some of the campings where you had to bring things, like what are the different things you got to do to prepare? Like how much preparation?
So my wife usually makes this long list of everything that we need because she's prepared like that. I'm usually like a wing it type of person, so she makes a big list, and then it's a lot easier to get all of our stuff together. But we'll make sure we got all of our chairs, the stoves. She'll even have like meals prepared or meals planned out. So we'll grocery shop, get all the food, get the cooler, get the ice, dry ice if we can. That way it lasts a lot longer and keeps our food all cold. All of our drinks, everything we need for our dogs, all our dog food, and whatever we need to take care of them. We also, if we're going to go hiking or fishing, get all of our fishing gear together. And then we have these big plastic containers that we'll sort everything in different containers. That way we can put it away easier once we get back, but we'll sort it and have it all categorized and arranged. That way we know where things are once we get to our campsite. So we'll just organize like that, and then make sure, of course, if we're tent camping, have our tents, or if we're in the RV, we have all the stuff that we need to tow our vehicles, our hats, sunscreen, if we're going hiking, just various stuff like that. We'll get a list and get everything prepared that way.
And I did see that she was organized, because last night when it was s'more time, she just had one container that she brought out, and like everything was there. The sticks, the marshmallow, the chocolate, the graham cracker. And I'm like, man, she really is organized. Aren't you lucky?
Definitely. Yeah, because being someone who wings it, I'll forget stuff a lot. So if I was in charge of bringing the s'mores, I probably would have forgot the marshmallows or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's so true. When we would do our family camping, because we have a group chat for the family, and everybody would itemize what they would bring. And if you didn't bring what you said you were going to bring, you were called out during camping. Now, what kind of stoves do you guys? Because I saw that she was cooking on a stove, but like, what type of stoves do you guys usually bring when you're not like in the RV and you're out camping in the middle of nowhere?
We'll usually just get a stove that has a nice sized propane tank from like some kind of big brand. We'll just go to the store, pick up one. Well, normally we've had one, but I left it in Montana because we were packing up so fast. So I left our stove, so we had to go buy another one actually for this camping event, because we're like, yeah, I'll go get the stove out of the RV, and I was like, oh wait. I left it in Montana. We have to get a new one.
Well, someone else got a new stove. Okay, what about disasters? Have there ever been any type of camping disasters, or any stories of things that didn't go as planned?
I would say when I left that stove in Montana, because we were going to a next campsite, and normally we always cook with that stove because we don't like using our RV propane, because especially if we're on like a long trip, because we're going to run out. So we usually use that first, and then the backup is the RV. So, and plus we don't want to stink up the RV. So yeah, leaving that stove out there was one of them. Yeah. So we camped out in Yosemite, and it was like 100 degrees. It was really hot. Maybe it was like 98 or something like that, but it was really hot. So we set up our tents. It starts cooling down overnight. It starts raining, and then we go to sleep. We wake up and it's just all white. It snowed overnight and it was just freezing cold. Yeah, so to wake up from, to go to sleep, having it be hot the day before, and then waking up the next day and it's like 20 degrees outside and snowing, that's kind of a that was just a hiccup in our little trip because we didn't expect that. Definitely didn't expect that.
Yeah, I would be surprised too. Like you said, it's hot and then all of a sudden it snows. That is so weird. We do have Kenneth Owens, and he said he camped in Grand Isle Beach. I don't know where that's at. He goes, it rained so hard, got water in the tent. The wind blew so hard it blew our tent over, but he still loved the adventure. So did you have anything like that happen? Anything,
We had uh, so we did have a little side trip planned while we were camping. We went to Utah, and so I was in charge. We normally download our maps for when we're going to go somewhere, and we had this like 110-mile little drive plan to go through a certain part of Utah, and I didn't download the map. We start going and we get on the trail, because it's not a road, it's a dirt trail. We get to this spot where we're like I think we have to go this way, but there's a river there. I think we have to go this way, but I mean, how do we go? There's a river there. So we crossed the river, and in the Jeep, we made sure it wasn't deep, like too deep. I stuck a stick in there and kind of, you can kind of see it, but we drove across that, and then we start going on this trail where we think we're supposed to go, and then we totally lose reception, and then we just keep on going. But I don't know, the weather just changed. It started raining, and then it started snowing. But when we started the trip, it was nice and sunny. And then we just continue on, and then at some point we were like, we kind of started arguing because we were like, I don't know if we should go. Should we keep going? Should we turn around?
Wait, who wanted to keep going and who wanted to turn around?
Both of us were kind of at odds. We're like, I don't know. I want to keep going, but I don't know. It's kind of unsafe. I don't know if we're going to make it, because we know it's a long drive and it's out in the middle of nowhere. We didn't really see any people. So we finally found this guy who was doing the same thing. He was also lost. We're like, we could just go together if anything happens, because it was raining, snowing, there was mud, there was warning signs of flash floods could happen because it was raining. So we were kind of nervous about continuing on, but with him being there, he had ropes to pull us out if anything happened, and we were both in Jeeps. So we're like, let's just continue together. We'll just go. And it turned out to be like one of the best little adventures that we went on.
So did you eventually find where you were supposed to be going?
Yes, we thought it was the right way. We just kept going, and it turned out to be like 100 something miles. So we figured this was where we were, and a lot of the sites that we wanted to see, there were like these rock formations and different things that we saw out there that we saw. So it turned out to be exactly what we thought it was supposed to be, but it didn't go exactly as planned.
But I think that's what makes the trip fun, right? That's what makes it memorable, because if everything goes to plan and everything happens, then it's not really fun, right?
Yes. That made it like one of the most memorable little outings that we had, because it was so like kind of chaotic, and then we didn't know what we were doing. It was, we figured it out together with another party, so it turned out to be a really good adventure.
See, that's cool. Okay, let's go ahead and say hello to a few people, because we've got Dahlia, who is watching from Thailand. So I want to say hello to Talia. Talia, I am going back to Thailand in December, so I may hit you up for recommendations of things to do in Thailand. So thank you for watching all the way from Thailand. And like I said earlier, Mylene, she said no cold showers. I guess she doesn't like cold showers. Clay Esmas, he said his first time camping was at an elementary school trip. That would have been cool, going to camping in elementary school, but we didn't have that. And he said he did camping at a tent. And Renz, who was camping with us, said this this was actually his first time camping. So I think he had fun. I don't even think he went to go sleep last night. And then, of course, we've got Romy, who says he used to camp in his van all the time. But and then we've got let's see who else we have on here. Melbourne. We've got Jay Esperanza saying good day from Melbourne, Australia. How cool is that? I've yet to go back to Australia. So, all right. So, food. What is like a go-to, or what is a must-have type of food when you go camping?
There's really not one. It's because when we go camping, my wife's preparing full meals. So whatever we eat at home, we're eating out on the road or out camping. Regardless of where we're at, we're eating like really good meals. So there's no really go-to food. I would say breakfast, maybe bacon. I love bacon. So that's one thing that we always get, I guess, for breakfast, that and like fried rice. But
Now, have you done the camping without bringing any of the stoves and all that stuff?
no. Well, yeah, we've done it on just the fire, I guess, a couple times where we've done these things called hobo packs, where you put together like ground beef, different vegetables, potatoes. You wrap it in foil and just throw it on the fire. I don't know if that's really good for you, but we've done it.
No, but that sounds interesting, because you didn't have a stove, right? So that's what you had to do when you cook. Well, last night also your wife brought some popcorn that we used to have. I think in the 80s, that came in a pan already, and then all you got to do is like cook it over the stove, right? Bring back memories. See, that's a thing. I think that's the first time I've ever had popcorn during camping, because usually you'll do popcorn in a popcorn popper, but you can't bring any of that stuff, right? And then we did have meat on skewers last night, because they were grilling and all kinds of meats, which was pretty cool. But anything like that's different that you eat at camping that you wouldn't normally cook at home?
I've had balut camping.
Okay, I haven't even had balut, and I don't think that's something I would ever cook. But really, at camping, are you sure it was cooked?
Yes. And we've had fresh caught fish. Like I've caught fish out of the river, and then we've my wife will clean it, or I'll clean it with her help.
Wait, she was in the background saying no, that he wasn't the one cleaning.
I mean, she was teaching me. I usually catch the fish, but I'll throw it back, or I'll just bring it for someone else to eat it, because I won't really clean it.
See, that's cool. I think I need to go camping with you guys, because I think that would be a fun experience, right? Catching your food and then, cooking it in open fire. I don't think we've ever done that. We've always brought food, like you said, whatever we would normally cook at home, and then just cook it when we go camping. But I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, as a kid too, we would fish. I would camp like when I was like 7 years old with my family, and we would fish. My uncle would, prep the fish. We didn't eat the head, so we would remove the head and then cook the fish that way. They would barbecue the entire fish, so they wouldn't really prep it. I mean, they would kind of clean the intestines out, but other than that, they wouldn't remove the skin or anything like that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, did they take the scales out?
The fish that we were eating, it didn't really have that much scales, so they didn't remove the scales, and plus we didn't have the thing to remove the scales really. I mean, we had the knife, but it was just faster just to cook it that way.
So, like, when you guys caught fish, like, did you guys even know what kind of fish it was, or whatever you caught, you would just eat?
My grandmother was an avid fisher person. I wouldn't say fisherman. She's a woman, but she would catch all kinds of different fish, and she knew the names of them. So she told me what kind it was. It was like I don't know, 10-inch fish, but she could identify it. Yeah, and I caught this really weird looking fish when we were in Oregon on some river. It was a bottom feeder, so I don't know if it was good to eat it, but we did, because We're like, whatever we catch, we're gonna eat it, and we pull out this ugly fish, and it was like, I don't know if we can eat that. It doesn't look like we should eat that, but we ended up eating it. We prepped it and ate it, and it actually was pretty tasty.
And I think that's why like I wouldn't eat catfish because I heard like it's like a bottom feeder, and then I had it once and it tasted like dirt. But yeah, so we're almost kind of running out of time. But before we run out of time, Janice, you're gonna have to come up here and at least say hello. Come here. I am calling her out because she's been on the side here laughing at her husband, telling stories, and she's been encouraging his stories. So I want you to tell us one of your best camping experiences.
Oh, I think every single one, I love them, and he kind of mentioned one of my favorites. But the best thing is actually doing it with a lot of people. The more people you have in the camping, the better. And it's just fun to see everyone, especially the little kids. They're out with their gadgets and they're all there playing, and it's just fun seeing them. I love doing it. Even though I don't have kids, I'm like the auntie or the cousin that they're like, oh, Ate Janice is gonna do the camping. Let's go. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's fun with the kids, especially when like remember last night they were all in their tent and I tried to scare them and they're like, Someone's hovering over us. Someone's hovering, right?" But it's a lot of fun. And so any other stories you'd like to I want you to do your face of the fish that you were describing that was an ugly fish you said.
I don't think I want to do that on my own face, but all I can say is like, if you had an allergic reaction to something, your lip is so swollen, it was that kind of fish.
And mouth wasn't pointing forward; it was pointing down, so you could tell it was a bottom feeder.
And he's so scared that he can't even really hold the fish. I have to hold the fish. It's like this big.
The ugliest fish I've ever seen. I didn't want to. I really didn't want to eat that thing. I didn't want to touch that thing when I brought it in. I was like, "What is this?"
Fish. So you gotta eat it. So I had to prep it and clean it, and we eat it.
Did you guys ever find out what kind of fish it was? No.
My uncle told me, but I can't remember the name because I'd never heard it before.
He said, "Don't eat it." And
Yeah.
someone we posted it on social media, and one of our friends said, "Oh, we don't eat that. If we see that, we'll just actually use that as a bait, or we'll just feed it to animals."
But you guys actually ate it.
It was decent. It tasted decent.
See, you guys are brave because if someone would have told me don't eat it, I really wouldn't have eaten it. You guys are really brave.
Big. And we pulled it out of a fresh river, so it was, I don't think it was dirty. Yeah, we put
you let it some water and
let it circulate the water, the fresh, clean water through it, cleaner water.
Yeah, like I said, that's nothing I would do. But anyways, we are running out of time. We don't want to take up New Jersey's time, so we are going to end it here. But before we end, do you guys want to give out any final shout outs to anyone?
I shout out to my wife for always being on the adventure with me.
Just to everyone and to all of the family that we've camped before, and I just want to say to everyone, even though you haven't tried it or you think you don't like it, just try it for once. There's many types of camping you can do. You don't have to rough it up. There's so many cabins, but as long as you're out there in the outdoor, you'll see the difference.
And I have to agree with her. Before we went camping, we really didn't know what to expect. But once you're out there, it is a lot of fun, especially being out in nature. And then when all the lights are off, you could see the pretty stars. Last night, I didn't see too many stars because we're not too far out in the middle of nowhere. But that is one of the things I think I do enjoy about camping is like seeing the beauty of nature, right? So for all of our viewers out there and listeners, we did have some people from Pampanga also logged on, and Baton Rouge, thank you for logging on, and we have people from Blue Ridge. So thank you so much for joining us today, and before we end, we'd always like to say thank you to our CFO coordinator and SEPSI president, Brother Angelo Irano Manalo, and to our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Who knows where we will be next week, because this has actually been fun doing it on location, right? So thank you. Oh, wait, hold on. We got more people coming to say bye. That's our tech crew behind us, because like I said, we were limited on cameras when we're out in the middle of nowhere. So
This is